than ever, we need more platforms like this so that we can spread relevant information. On behalf of the Department of Science and Technology, Philippine Council for Health Research and Development, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me today to discuss the safety and importance of COVID-19 vaccines. Now more than ever, we need more platforms like this so that we can spread relevant information that would educate the public and encourage them to get vaccinated and protect themselves not only from COVID-19, but also from other diseases as well. Vaccination is a simple, safe, and effective way of protecting people against harmful diseases before they come into contact with them. It uses your body's natural defenses to build resistance to specific infections and makes your immune system stronger. In other words, a vaccine stimulates your immune system to produce antibodies, exactly like it would be if you were exposed to the disease. After getting vaccinated, you develop immunity to that disease without having to get the disease first. Unlike most medicines which treat or cure diseases, vaccines prevent them. Most vaccines have been in use for decades, with millions of people receiving them safely every year. As with all medicines, every vaccine must go through extensive and rigorous testing to ensure it is safe before it can be introduced in the country's vaccination program. According to the World Health Organization, each vaccine under development must first undergo screenings and evaluations to determine which antigen should be used to invoke an immune response. This preclinical phase is done without testing on humans. An experimental vaccine is first tested in animals to evaluate its safety and potential to prevent disease. If the vaccine triggers an immune response, it is then tested in human clinical trials in 3 phases. When the results of all these clinical trials are available, a series of steps is required, including reviews of efficacy and safety for regulatory and public health policy approvals. Officials in each country closely review the study data and decide whether to authorize the vaccine for use. A vaccine must be proven to be safe and efficacious across a broad population before it will be approved and introduced into a national immunization program. Further monitoring takes place in an ongoing way after the vaccine is introduced. These data serve as basis to adjust the policies for vaccine use to optimize their impact, and they will also allow the vaccine to be safely tracked throughout its use. So how do vaccines work? Vaccines contain weakened or inactive parts of a particular organism or antigen that triggers an immune response within the body. Newer vaccines contain the blueprint for producing antigens rather than the antigen itself. Regardless of whether the vaccine is made up of the antigen itself or the blueprint so that the body will produce the antigen, the weakened version will not cause a disease in the person receiving the vaccine, but it will prompt the antibodies to fight the disease and the virus if it invades again. Some vaccines require multiple doses given weeks or months apart. This is sometimes needed to allow for the production of long-lived antibodies and development of memory cells. In this way, the body is trained to fight the specific disease-causing organism, building up memory of the pathogen so as to rapidly fight it if and when exposed in the future. The main types of vaccines act in different ways, and they may include the following: the live attenuated vaccines, inject a live version of the germ or virus that causes a disease into the body. Although the germ is a live specimen, it is a weakened version that does not cause any symptom or infection, as it is unable to reproduce while it is inside the body. An inactivated vaccine uses a strain of a bacteria or virus that has been killed with heat or chemicals. The dead version of the virus or bacteria is then injected into the body. Inactivated vaccines are the earliest type of vaccines to be produced, and they do not trigger an immune response that is as strong and triggered by the live attenuated vaccines. Subunit, recombinant, conjugate, and polysaccharide vaccines are particular parts of the germ or virus. They can trigger a very strong immune response in the body because they use a specific part of the germ. Although the immune response is strong, these types of vaccines may need topping up over time. They are suitable for people with weakened immune systems and long-term health conditions. What about toxoid vaccines? They are toxins created by the bacteria or virus to create immunity to the specific parts of the bacteria or virus that cause disease, and not the entire bacteria or virus. The immune response is focused on this specific toxin. mRNA vaccines. They work by triggering an immune response from proteins they synthesize. They induce both cellular and humoral immunity. This technology has been developed for decades. mRNA vaccines have benefited such as short manufacturing times and low manufacturing costs. However, they have to be kept at low temperatures due to the high fragility of the mRNA. Viral vector vaccines. They mostly modify another virus and use it as a vector to deliver protection from the intended virus. Some of the viruses used as vectors include adenovirus, influenza, measles virus, and vesicular stomatitis virus. It is also important to know the different status of vaccine development, especially between a clinical trial, an emergency use authorization, and a product registration. In clinical trials, a new vaccine is being tested on people to assess if it is safe and efficacious. Vaccines in clinical trials are not fully proven yet to be safe and effective. Yet in this stage, further clinical trials have to be emphasized not to be vaccination programs. An emergency use authorization means that an unapproved vaccine is authorized for limited use as it is deemed safe and efficacious based on review of interim data of phase 3 clinical trials. Finally, a certificate of product registration or CPR is given when a new and approved vaccine is proven safe and efficacious based on review of completed data from phase 3 clinical trials and can therefore be purchased in the market and used for vaccination programs. The development of vaccines and extensive childhood vaccination campaigns are among the most important public health achievements in the past 200 years. They have saved millions of lives each year, and in some cases eradicated dangerous diseases not only locally but globally. Some of the important vaccine developments in history have truly changed modern medicine. Some of the examples are the following. The smallpox vaccine. Smallpox was the first successful vaccine developed in 1796 by Edward Jenner. The WHO described smallpox as one of the deadliest known viruses known to humans. The virus leads to flu-like symptoms, followed by pus-filled blisters on your body. Because of the vaccine, Smallpox is the only disease ever to be eradicated worldwide. The polio vaccine is used to prevent poliomyelitis. Because of widespread vaccination, our country was declared by the WHO as wild polio-free in 2000, along with most of the WHO's Western Pacific region. While the Philippines declared an outbreak of polio in September of 2019, WHO currently assesses the risk of international spread from the Philippines to be low. WHO also recommends that all travelers and residents in polio-affected areas to be fully vaccinated against polio. The MMR vaccine. MMR stands for measles, mumps, and rubella. Today, kids get 2 doses of the MMR vaccine, which protects against measles, mumps, and rubella, one at 12 to 15 months, and a second dose at ages 4 to 6 years. The vaccine is highly effective against the measles, which is a very contagious respiratory virus, as well as German measles and mumps. Safety has been a top priority as we work with various manufacturers during their development and evaluation of vaccine candidates. Aside from the rigorous testing, it must be approved for licensing by the Food and Drug Administration before they can be used. FDA regulations for the development of vaccines help ensure their safety, purity, potency, and effectiveness. Even after the vaccines are authorized for use, monitoring continues with systems in place to track problems or side effects that were not detected during the clinical trials. As the COVID-19 cases continue to increase, here are some of the most important reasons why we need to get vaccinated. COVID-19 vaccination will help keep you from getting COVID-19. All COVID-19 vaccines currently available around the world have been shown to be highly effective at preventing COVID-19 disease. Getting vaccinated yourself may also protect people around you, particularly people at increased risk for severe illness from COVID-19. COVID-19 vaccination is a safer way to help build protection. COVID-19 can have serious life-threatening complications, and there is no way to know how COVID-19 will affect you. And if you get sick, you can spread the disease to friends, family, and others around you. COVID-19 vaccination will help protect you by creating an antibody or immune system response without having you to experience the disease. COVID-19 vaccination will be an important tool to help stop the pandemic. Wearing of masks and social distancing help reduce your chance of being exposed to the virus or spreading it to others. But these measures are not enough. Vaccines will work with your immune system as it will be ready to fight the virus if you are exposed. I would like to reiterate that an EUA grant is not the same with product registration. Even with the EUA mechanism in place, it is still crucial to continue the conduct of clinical trials, especially that in cases of serious adverse events, the FDA may immediately revoke the grant. Every vaccine candidate, including those with EUA, will require a certificate of product registration before they can be included or used for vaccination programs. Currently, the vaccines under an EUA as of April 19, 2021 that are available in the country are the following: Pfizer-BioNTech, Oxford-AstraZeneca, Sinovac Coronavac, Gamaleya Sputnik V, Johnson & Johnson or Janssen vaccine, and the Bharat Biotech's vaccine called Covaxin. According to the data released by the DOH, more than 3 million doses have already been distributed. Around 1.5 million doses have already been administered across the country. Aside from the vaccination initiatives of the government, we at the DOST-PCHRD are also spearheading the conduct of the World Health Organization Solidarity Vaccine Trial in the country in order to evaluate vaccine candidates and their progress, to define the desired characteristics of safe and effective vaccines, to combat the pandemic, and to coordinate the clinical trials across the world, giving the best chance for a safe and effective vaccine for all. Currently, the Philippine vaccine team has already started the coordination meetings, both online and face-to-face setup, with the National Capital Region mayors regarding the identification of secondary sites, possible referral hospitals, patients who will experience adverse drug reactions, and other specific support, such as the process of recruitment, using pre-registered databases as part of the preparations for the Solidarity Vaccine Trial. Also, online trainings are ongoing, such as for good clinical practice and COVID-19 vaccination training for health workers and staff, prepared by the hospital site team, leaders, and WHO. These trainings are designed to ensure that the Philippine vaccine team is well equipped about the rights, safety, and well-being of human subjects involved in the clinical trials. While our government is currently laying out our immunization program so that we can all get vaccinated safely, it is important that we observe the minimum public health standards while waiting for our turn to get vaccinated. The minimum public health standards include wearing of face masks, physical distancing, frequent washing or disinfecting of other hands, as well as avoiding crowded places, and an efficient and immediate contact tracing when it happens. However, if you know someone, or if you yourselves are healthcare workers and or part of the government's priority group, which includes senior citizens, indigent population, uniformed personnel, or those with existing comorbidity and immunodeficiencies, I urge that you now register for vaccination in your respective local government units. The DOH has created a vaccine registration directory which can be viewed using the link shown on this slide. In closing, I would like to emphasize that it is important for us to ensure that our efforts will serve the needs of our communities. With our shared mission to overcome the challenges brought about by the pandemic, I hope that everyone will stay well informed and work with us to bring solutions closer to our communities and end this public health crisis. Again, I would like to thank the organizers of this event for this opportunity to share relevant information on COVID-19 vaccination. I hope that after today, those with hesitations will be convinced enough to have themselves vaccinated against COVID-19, as this will not only save your life, but the life of the people around you. Again, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat at mabuhay po tayong lahat.